Good afternoon. This is Ronald Bird with another edition of Style Speaks, our fall fashion segment. I'm gonna call it our fall fashion segment since fall is, typically the biggest fashion season. But fortunately for us, I talk to a lot of models, as you guys know, a lot of actors, a lot of theatrical people. But it's nice to kind of step outside of that genre and not just talk to a pretty face all the time. Although we got a pretty face right here, but he's not. We can't classify him as a model. But I have a very special guest who is going to sit down with me, who's already sitting, and we gonna talk some stuff. I think he's ready for me today, and I'm ready for him too. Mr. Brian Harris, how you doing, buddy?
Oh well, how are you?
Right. Good to finally meet you, man.
You too, man.
You know, I've been a fan of yours. I've been a fan of yours for a while. You've been a fan of mine.
I have.
I was like, okay, I was waiting for that. Well, I've been a fan of yours too, Ronald, but it didn't come out of his mouth. So I have to I have to like pull my compliments out. I'm like, Lord, I thought I told him in the contract that you're supposed to kiss my, But anyway, I'm glad you took your time out this afternoon. There's a lot of things going on in the city today. You got some business going on, and we'll talk about that later.
Absolutely.
As to why you have to leave here today. But I appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
You look amazing.
Thank you,
This
sir.
brother is like leather trim, patches, and cashmere and all
Something
this.
slight.
I thought you got the menu the menu. See, he got me all nervous. I'm twisting. I usually don't get it, but I thought you got the memo that you weren't supposed to outshine the host.
Well, this is just very simple for me.
Because you're trying to stay upstage, man. This ain't gonna
I'm
work.
certainly not trying
We're gonna
to,
make
sir.
this interview real short. 'Cause I don't appreciate it one bit. But you look amazing, man.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. So, Brian, tell everybody where you're from.
So I'm originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and my family moved to the DMV area when I was about 14 years old.
Okay.
And more specifically, we lived in McLean, Virginia.
Okay.
Then I went away to college, then to grad school, and then I came back to the area maybe about 7 years ago.
Okay. Cool. Well, you've been around for a good little while.
Indeed.
Yeah. So you're liking it?
I love the DMV area.
Okay.
I love the cultural arts that's here, the different types of people, different types of fashion and style that you can see in the city.
Right.
And so, yeah, I love being here.
That's good. Well, I'm sure DC likes having you here.
Okay.
Definitely.
That feels good.
That works. That works for you.
That works for me.
Well, I've been a fan of yours for a while. You're definitely one of my fashion enthusiast friends, especially on Facebook.
Okay.
But I see you have a lot. You got a lot of business side to you too. But we'll start with the whole fashion piece. Well, where do you think? And I like to ask this question as I get to know my guests. You're very well put together. This is not something and it's not like over contrived. It's just like you just kind of put this together and it just totally works, which I love. Did not look like it took a lot of work. It just automatically works on you. So you have a presence, and you can definitely see that in your visuals. But where do you think that comes from?
I think it may come from a variety of things. I don't take all of the credit for some of the style that I have.
Absolutely.
I really like to follow 1940s and 1950s men's style. I have more of a conservative, classy, classic kind of style. And I think in the 1940s and the 1950s, the men also had that same style.
Yes.
So I pull a lot of things from that era. So it comes from that. It also comes from just my own creativity, playing with different patterns, color patterns, seeing how these things kind of go together. Textures and just kind of having fun with it. So definitely that 1940s and 50s style, the creativity. And then I am so blessed. I have a variety of friends who are also awesome style people.
Yeah,
and so we kind of lean on each other for different
Is it like
ideas
this friendly competition
Absolutely.
too? Yeah.
We're not friendly competition.
Of course it is. Of course it is. It's not spoken, but it's one of those things. Okay, I know John Boy, he gonna serve it tomorrow, so let me make sure.
Absolutely.
He ain't gonna outshine. We don't want to be. I know we don't want to be outshined.
Of course.
And you just don't seem like the type of brother. I know I don't want to be.
It's
although I
funny
don't never had that problem. But anyway.
I think our competition is more based on how much we spent for our suits, because we really love thrift stores and
Right.
resale stores, consignment shops, and so
who can look the best for
who can look
less?
the best for less? Absolutely.
Gotcha.
So that's
I love
really
that.
where the
I love
competition
that.
starts.
Right.
You know, who can look the best for less?
Okay, I love that. I love
Yeah, that's kind of my inspiration. Is those different types of influences to kind of help me, put together this.
Well,
style.
even going further back, like your parents. I don't know who was that person in your life that that kind of enforced you looking well. I mean, I know you kind of developed. We all developed and come into our own look and our styles.
Of course.
But your upbringing and who had that influence. You may have an uncle who dressed like whatever your father or brother or whatever. Was there any influences there?
Yes.
Male or female?
Ironically, I come from two fabulous dressed parents.
Are you serious?
Both of my parents really dress
How cool
well,
is that, right?
and they really make dressing important.
Okay.
For more of the sake that it's important that you look a certain way and that you're presentable, and that people respect you. And so one of the ways that people respect you is if you're dressed appropriately.
It is a difference.
So I was the kid who wore dress clothes to school. While everyone else had the tennis shoes and sweatshirts, I had the slacks and the pin loafers with dimes in them. Right.
Yeah. All right.
Dimes.
Regions.
So
He said, okay. He was like, okay, not penny loafers with pennies in them,
but
with dimes.
Right. I don't know where my mother got that from. Not
I
nickels.
thought the nickels was cool.
Maybe the nickels might have been too big. I think so. But yeah, so my mother would do that. But I really think that, my parents kind of influenced me to kind of continue this style, this conservative style.
Okay.
My father taught me how to tie a tie at a very young age. And so, I had blazers at 9 and 10 years old. Just because that was very important for my family. I also come from a pretty religious family.
Okay.
And so going to church was very important for us. And I have grandparents who, are sticklers on when you go to church, you have to make sure that you're dressed appropriately.
Okay.
You're not gonna come in here
None of
with
that new age, whatever.
None of that new age style. I'm just gonna come,
Yes, I'm going to
any
church.
kind of way. I'm going to church.
And when he
I'm
goes
gonna
to
be
church,
presenting-
he goes to church, y'all.
Absolutely.
You see some of
We
the
go to
pictures from church.
Absolutely. So I think that's just kind of where that kind of came from. So.
All right. We're in a coffee shop, y'all. So if I have to gesture, we were saving that chair. So I'm sorry, but this is live TV show. That we keep it real up in here. So thank you very much. We're just filming. Well, that's wonderful, man.
Yeah.
That's wonderful, man. Because I love stories like that and how people kind of get that. I always say in my interviews that I kind of got my influence from my grandma. I didn't really have any male images. I wasn't raised with a father in the house, and it was just me and my brother, and he wasn't nobody to fall behind because he was falling behind me. He missed the style gene, what I'm saying. But I love you, Robin. I love you, Robin. But you got some work to do, Robin. But anyway, I'll get some, there may be some repercussions from that comment. But that's really interesting, man, and I love those kind of comments because it's really important that because that'll be something. I'm not sure if you have kids or not, but that's something that we pass down. You know what I'm saying? And I know you work with young kids, and that whole presentation, obviously presentation, and I can see, and I know that, but obviously presentation and first impressions are very important to
Absolutely.
you, and that whole professional side. So, well, let's get into that professional side. So, how do you transition from? This is probably, maybe not typically. You wouldn't be wearing this on a Saturday afternoon, just randomly doing. Okay, he's like, no, Ronald. So just go ahead and say, Ronald, I did this for you. Can I just?
Yeah, I did this.
Can I get
just
some
for
kind
this
of compliment?
just for you, buddy.
See, I don't mind, asking for it. I really don't. But I appreciate you doing that. But I can tell it's not like something that you had to work hard to do.
Yeah.
It's like I'm going someplace nice. I'm gonna be on TV and YouTube and all that. So everybody, I gotta make a good impression. So that's obviously important to you. But how do you transition from your play, your personal life to? Does it change much from your everyday, kind of casual look, everyday kind of, Brian, to what you want to present to the world in the business field? I think isn't it kind of really connected? You kind of have an elegant style anyway. I see that, how you dress to go to church. I see that when you're doing what you're doing. And basically based on the quality of the clothes that you're wearing today, I see that is probably not that much of a difference as opposed to your everyday look as you relate to your personal stuff. Right? So how do you differentiate the two, or is it really different? Does your closet really vary, or you can really tie all this?
It is oddly different. Okay, and it's that way because of my profession.
Okay.
I do not have time to wear a three-piece suit or a pair of dress shoes because I am teaching throughout the day. On a day like this, when my dance studio is open for 4.5 hours, I'm focused more on getting my kids in there and really teaching them those skills and techniques that they need. So I'm not even focused on.
Okay, well, so that's what you're a dance teacher. Well, that's a whole. Well, you don't have to look professional. I mean, you're dressed in the dark brown.
Absolutely. Okay. And it's funny because at the school where I teach, I'm also the dean of the fine arts department. And so sometimes I have to kind of, fluctuate between depending on who's coming to the school or a meeting that I may have. But on a day-to-day basis, I'm really invested in my kids, helping them to be successful. And so, that whole style piece, it's there.
Right.
But we have to put them away a little bit.
Right. It's not about you. It's not about you at that point.
It's not about me at that point.
Not about me right now.
It's funny when I came this morning to my studio, my kids said, "Mr. Harris, where do you go?"
Okay. They recognize that you were dressed up.
They're used to being dressed up when we go to different events, but certainly not on a Saturday morning.
Right. Gotcha.
Yeah,
it's like,
so that was kind of funny.
Well, that's cool. I like that because I mean, like I said, you can kind of tell with people just how creative they are with fashion, and you seem to be that creative person. But would you consider yourself? And maybe maybe I shouldn't ask this question because you did kind of say in the beginning you love that 1940s and 50s, that classic, that whole Cary Grant and Rock Hudson, that those leading men of that era who really dressed very elegant. And I've actually made some of the comments that, and I've kind of named you that very sophisticated and kind of elegant guy. So and even in your casual wear today, looking all elegant at the same time, but there's not this big gap between even when you're kind of dressed down, you still probably have that kind of elegant flair to you. Yeah, it still kind of comes across.
Yeah, I think that I do, and I think that elegant flair, as you put it, is more so about passion. And so sometimes
I love that word. Tony, he said it. He said passion. I'm waiting to get to the passion.
Yeah, when you're just passionate about what you're doing, it kind of transcends no matter what you have on.
Absolutely.
And so, I'm passionate again about making sure that my students, my boys in particular, are successful. And one of the ways in which they can become successful is helping them to find who they are creatively. And so if they can in some sort of way have that creative flair in their movements, then that will transcend to other areas of their life. And so just as I am kind of pushing that creative spirit in them, I still also have my own level of creativity. And so I think it's really just about passion. I'm passionate about style and how things are put together, and so it just kind of transcends no matter what I'm doing, what I'm wearing.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you actually just hit the nail on the head when you say you were passionate, because I was waiting for that, because that was going to be my next question. Are you passionate about style? Because you can be stylish, and just for some people it just kind of comes natural. But you don't necessarily have to be, and I'll plug myself too, you don't have to necessarily be passionate about it. And it's interesting you said that you are passionate about fashion. This is something that is inside you. This is something that you promote within you. This is something that feels comfortable for you. This is something that you deem important. To me, that's passion when it comes from there. But a lot of people, it really just doesn't. And it's always interesting to find that you take that sense of responsibility when it comes to looking well, and it's not necessarily, because I think the outside really projects how you feel on the inside. Of course. If you all messed up on the inside, most times if you all, a lot of people kind of put that package together, but you can kind of see, even if you're dressed up, that something's going on the inside that ain't right. But when you have that, when it's passion for you, I think it kind of emotes in the way you speak and the way you carry yourself. itself, and also on the exterior. So that's really neat. But tell everybody about the school and your kids and what you're doing there.
So I'm the Dean of the Fine Arts Department at William E. Dorr Public Charter School for the Performing Arts. It is the only chartered elementary and middle school in the arts in DC. And I oversee the entire Fine Arts Department there. And then I also am the artistic director and founder of Sons of Freedom Dance Institute.
And this is your own thing?
This is my own thing, which is a dance company that I started almost 4 years ago. And we are just really interested in teaching boys character education, self-empowerment,
and this is specifically boys?
All boys.
All boys? Okay.
All boys.
Okay.
And we have boys from 7 to 14 years old who are also passionate.
There you go.
Passionate about dance and passionate about being involved in the organization of Boys Who Are Brothers. And so that's really some of the things that we stress. So that's kind of what I have going on right now.
All right, and I'm sure that kind of keeps you busy.
I
mean, with the 9 to 5 and the school too, man. I mean, yeah, you seem like you're always kind of running.
I'm always kind of running. It's a good run, but it is indeed a run. But again, and I hate to kind of beat this word out, but when you really honestly are connected to what your call is, and you're connected to what your passion is, that passion fuels you even in the days when you don't feel your best, when you don't feel like dressing the best. That passion comes from within. And that's one of the things that I teach my children, that in some sort of way, when you're passionate about something, even on those days when you don't feel like it, it's your passion that's going to cause you to get up in spite of what you're feeling. Because again, it's about that level of presentation. And if I can stand before you, and I may not be dressed appropriately, but if you see and feel my passion, that speaks volumes.
Absolutely.
You were talking about, is this something that I'm passionate about, style and fashion? And it is indeed. It's something that I'm definitely connected to. I can't run away and say I'm not. But I think my passion about children and young people supersedes my passion about clothes and style and those kinds of things. I'm not trying to be a model.
Right.
I'm not trying to be a model. But I am trying to, in some sort of way, produce or help to produce a generation of young men who will, in some sort of way, have passion, who will be presentable, and who will be respected as intelligent, creative young men.
Well, that is wonderful. I mean, he got a little preacher in him too. Did you get a little bit of that, y'all? He can preach a little something. I got that in that conversation.
So that's another part of me too.
Well, we may have to have a round 2 with this brother, and I'm sure once things start to flourish, and we may have to call back. Sometimes I'll have another round 2 interview with some of my special guests, and this seems like one of those kind of brothers. But we gotta make sure he don't outshine me next time. Look, with all this leather trim.
Call me before and let me know.
I'm like, I thought I sent you the contract. I thought you sent me the signature. You can't look better than the whole. But anyway, this has been another edition of Style Speaks. We have our next guest who has just joined us, and we'll be back soon. But this is Ronald Byrd with Style Speaks with Mr. Brian Harris. Thank you for taking your time.
Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure meeting you, man.
Pleasure.
And I am still a fan, and will always be a fan. And good luck to you and your school.
I appreciate it.
All right. Until the next time, see you.